La Sagrada Familia. Did you know that initially Gaudi only completed building the Nativity facade with its four towers because he knew that he would never see it finished? The work of Antoni Gaudi wanted to create the perfect temple presents the life of Jesus and the history of faith. The 18 towers are dedicated to important biblical figures, and this is reflected in their size. 12 of them represent the apostles, 4 the evangelists, 1 the Virgin Mary, and the highest of them all represent Jesus Christ, which will be topped by a cross reaching a height of 172 meters. When it has been completed, the Sagrada Familia will be the highest building in Barcelona and the highest church in the world. From 1914, Gaudi ceased his work on several projects and focused only the construction of the temple. On 13th November 1925, construction of the first bell tower of the Nativity facade was completed. This is the only one that he would see, as on 10th June 1926 he was run over by a tram. The Nativity facade was finally finished in 1930. Therefore, one wants to complete the church in 2026 to be able to mark the 100th anniversary of the architect's death with an inauguration of the finished church. The Purple Way Garden was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2005. The giant Gothic Barcelona Cathedral is a focal point of interest in the Gothic Quarter historic Old Town. As you walk around the cathedral, you will see fine examples of Gothic architecture and Roman walls. In front of the cathedral is a small square where you will find street performers, cafes, and interesting shops. Park Güell is an enormous garden with stunning and distinct architectural elements designed by the renowned Catalan architect Antoni Gaudi. The park is named after Eusebi Güell, a rich entrepreneur and count that had a great passion for Gaudi's work and who became his patron. The park was originally conceived as part of a luxury residential complex, but over the years this idea was dropped and in its place Güell, and Gaudi designed a park that could be the setting for a fairy tale. This green space measures 17 hectares and includes rounded forms, columns that look like tree trunks, animal figures, and geometric shapes. Most of the architectonic elements are decorated with mosaic made from colorful ceramic pieces. The architect, inspired by nature, decorated the park with exquisite structures that imitate natural forms where neither rigidity nor classicism exist. All the elements, seen was and colorful forms are influenced by symbolism, both political and religious. The artist made the most of a 60-meter slope in a Carmen Hill, where the garden is located, to create a part of spiritual elevation, where Gaudi planned to build a chapel that was finally replaced by the Monumento al Calvario, a promontory located on the highest part of the park where visitors can obtain the best views over Barcelona. The park's center is a large square that has a large fence that runs along the plaza, measuring 110 meters long. It is shaped like a long snake and is decorated with colorful mosaics. The park was opened to the public in 1922 and since then has become one of Barcelona's main tourist attractions. In 1984, it was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Mallorca Castle is a historical building that was built as a military fortress in 1640, built on top of Montjuic Hill in Barcelona. In the mid-18th century, the military engineer Juan Martin Cermeño was responsible for the remodeling of the enclosure as it had been significantly damaged during the War of the Spanish Succession, which took place from 1701 to 1714. The castle has been used to both defend Barcelona and to bombard it at various times of its history. In the late 19th century, the building started to be used as a prison. In 1940, Luis Companys, the president of the government of Catalonia, was executed by firing squad there. And in 1963, Franco opened a military museum within its confines that was not definitively closed until 2009. Now the castle is owned by Barcelona City Council. You can reach the castle by the funicular de Montjuic and the Montjuic cable car. You will enjoy the journey up the mountain as you take in unobstructed panoramic views of Barcelona City and the Barcelona Cruise Port view. Valencia Cathedral sits at the heart of the old town of Valencia, an area called El Carmen. The cathedral links two of El Carmen's most iconic plazas, Plaza de la Reina and Plaza de Virgin. The cathedral itself is an impressive structure that spans a variety of architecture styles, including Baroque, Romanesque, and Gothic. Whether you are religious or not, it is worth making a trip to the cathedral during your trip to Valencia. Valencia Cathedral was built on the site of a Roman temple in the 13th century. After being a Roman temple, it was turned into a mosque. Throughout the building, you can see a range of architectural styles. This is typified by three of the cathedral's main doors. The Puerta de los Apóstoles is Gothic, the Puerta de los Heros is Baroque, and the Puerta del Palau is Romanesque. There is a chapel of the cathedral called Santo Cáliz Chapel. Inside the chapel, you can find the holy chalice that, according to tradition, was used by Christ during the Last Supper. Inside the St. Francis Borgia Chapel, you will find a famous painting by Goya. Valencia is the third largest city in Spain. It is a magnificent place content for Madrid and Barcelona to grab the headlines while it gets on with being a wonderfully livable city with thriving cultural, eating, and nightlife scenes. Valencia, surrounded by its huerta, a fertile zone of market gardens, it is famous as the home of rice dishes such as paella, but its busy dining scene offers plenty more besides its a sober spot for eating. Mallorca Cathedral, which is actually called the Cathedral of Saint Mary, is located in the historical center of Murcia on the Plaza del Cardinal Beluga. Construction began in 1394 and was finished in 1465. However, they continued to refurbish it and add other important parts such as the bell tower and the village chapel. In fact, it's hard to actually imagine the cathedral without its iconic tower. You can see it from all over Murcia and it has become the symbol of the city. It's principally of Gothic style, however, due to additions that were later built, it also contains Renaissance, Neoclassic, and Baroque features. The Alhambra is an ancient palace, fortress, and citadel located in Granada, Spain. The 18th century old site was named for the reddish walls and towers that surrounded the citadel. Alcala Alhambra in Arabic means red fort or castle. It's the only surviving Palatine city of the Islamic Golden Age and a remnant of the Nasrid dynasty, the last Islamic kingdom in Western Europe. The Alhambra is Granada's and Europe's love letter to Moorish culture. Set against the brooding Sierra Nevadas peaks, this fortified palace started life as a walled citadel before becoming the opulent seat of Granada's Nasrid emirs. Their showpiece palaces, the 15th century Palacios Nazaris, are among the finest Islamic buildings in Europe and together with the General Life Gardens form the Alhambra's great headline act. The General Life, the Sultan's gorgeous summer estate, dates to the 14th century, a soothing ensemble of pathways, patios, pools, fountains, trees, and in-season flowers of every imaginable hue. It takes its name from the Arabic Jinan al-Aref, meaning the overseer's gardens. A string of elegant rectangular plots with tinkling water features, the Jardins Nevus, leads up to the whitewashed Palacio del Generalife, the emir's summer palace. The courtyards here are particularly graceful. The first, the Patio de la Acequia, has gorgeous gardens and distant views of the Palacios Nazares, while in the second one, the Patio de la Sultana, the trunk of a 700-year-old cypress trees suggest the delicate shade that would once have graced the area. Behind this courtyard, the Escalera del Agua is a delightful work of landscape engineering with water channels running down a shaded staircase. The origin of Charles V Palace was the need for a place that would include all the comforts of the time for the emperor and his family, as the palaces which were their summer residence did not cover their needs. It's a circular patio, it's unique, and it's the most important building of Renaissance style in Spain. Only the southern western facade are completely decorated. The Roman bridge of Cordoba was constructed in 1st century AD during the Roman domination. In its time, it was an engineering challenge and one of the most important constructions of the time that allowed access to the city. From the original structure, few vestiges remain, and it was modified many times by the different civilizations that passed through Cordoba. The Roman bridge was featured in Season 5 of Game of Thrones, the hugely popular HBO TV series set in a fantastical land of 7 kingdoms. Enhanced by CGI, the ancient structure becomes the Long Bridge of Volantes. Mezquita, also called Great Mosque of Cordoba, one of the world's greatest Islamic buildings, the mezquita is a symbol of the world's sophisticated culture that flourished here more than a millennium ago when Cordoba was a capital of Islamic Spain and Western Europe's biggest, most cultured city. The original structure was built by the Umayyad ruler Abu Rahman I in 784 to 786, with extensions in the 9th and 10th centuries that doubled its size, ultimately making it one of the largest sacred buildings in the Islamic world. Passing through the courtyard, one enters on the south, a deep sanctuary whose roof is supported by a forest of pillars made of porphyry, jasper, and many-colored marbles. The most exquisite decoration in the wall complex is found in the third mihrab, a small octagonal recessed roof with a single block of white marble that is carved in the form of a shell, and it has walls inlaid with Byzantine-style mosaic and gold. Islamic Mosque in Cordoba, Spain, which was converted into a Christian cathedral in the 13th century. Since 1236, the former mosque has served as a Christian cathedral, and its Moorish character was altered in the 16th century with the erection in the interior of a central high altar and cruciform choir, numerous chapels along the side of the vast quadrangle, and a belfry 90 meters high in the place of the old minaret. Spanish City of Flamenco. The Plaza de Espana is a spectacle of light and majesty. Framed in the Maria Luisa Park, this plaza was designed by the great Sevilla architect Aníbal González as an emblematic space for the 1929 Ibero-American Expo. The result was a Plaza Palace unique in the world. Its proportions are lavish. It has a total area of 50,000 square meters, without a doubt one of the most imposing plazas in Spain. Along the entire perimeter of the plaza, there is a canal of 515 meters in length, which you can travel by boat, a truly romantic experience. The 4 beautiful bridges that cross the canal represent the ancient kingdoms of Spain. 2 tall towers stand at the ends of the plaza, providing the area with perfect balance. These towers can be seen from all over Sevilla. The porticoed gallery that separates the open space of the plaza with respect to the buildings longs to be explored. Admire the impressive covered ceiling. Several film directors have fallen in love with the Plaza de Espana. This monument has been seen in famous films such as Lawrence of Arabia or Episode 2 of Star Wars: Attack of the Clones.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Turn this room, turn it to an ocean. Let me float around. Eyes closed, like we're dreaming even when we're not. You and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with